Malcolm X, Transformation Through Learning. Introduction. Malcolm X is remembered as one of the most prominent and controversial African American leaders of the 20th century. His transformation from a street hustler to a global advocate for human rights and racial justice is a compelling story of personal growth, resilience, and the power of education. His life demonstrates how knowledge can be a catalyst for profound personal and social change, shaping his philosophy and leadership in the civil rights movement. Early life and struggles. Born Malcolm Little on May 19, 1925, in Omaha, Nebraska, Malcolm's early years were marred by racial violence and instability. His father, Earl Little, was a Baptist minister and staunch supporter of Marcus Garvey's Back to Africa movement. Earl's activism made him a target of white supremacist groups, resulting in the family being repeatedly harassed and forced to relocate. Tragically, Earl died under suspicious circumstances, allegedly at the hands of the Black Legion, a white supremacist group, when Malcolm was just 6 years old. Following Earl's death, the family struggled financially, and Malcolm's mother, Louise, suffered a mental breakdown, leading to her institutionalization. Separated from his siblings and placed in foster care, Malcolm's early education was interrupted. Though he was a bright student, he became disillusioned after a white teacher discouraged his aspirations to become a lawyer, suggesting he pursue a trade more suitable for a black man. By his teenage years, Malcolm had dropped out of school and moved to Boston, where he became involved in petty crime. This period of his life, marked by gambling, theft, and drug dealing, culminated in his arrest in 1946. Sentenced to 10 years in prison, Malcolm began a journey of transformation that would define his legacy. The prison years, the awakening of the mind. Malcolm's time in prison proved to be a turning point. Initially rebellious and resistant to authority, he soon found solace and purpose in reading. Encouraged by fellow inmate and mentor John Bembry, Malcolm developed a voracious appetite for books. He began by copying the dictionary, page by page, to improve his vocabulary and reading skills. This painstaking exercise was the foundation of his self-education. Through his readings, Malcolm explored history, philosophy, religion, and politics, gaining a deeper understanding of systemic racism and its impact on Black people. He delved into works by authors like W. E. B. Du Bois, Carter G. Woodson, and other African American intellectuals who chronicled the struggles of their community. This period of intense study sparked his interest in African history and the contributions of Black civilizations, challenging the Eurocentric narratives he had previously encountered. While in prison, Malcolm was introduced to the teachings of Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam, NOI. The NOI's message of Black empowerment, self-reliance, and resistance to white oppression resonated deeply with him. Inspired by the NOI's philosophy, he rejected his slave name and adopted the surname X to symbolize his lost African heritage. Upon his release in 1952, Malcolm was determined to use his newfound knowledge to uplift and empower the Black community. Leadership in the Nation of Islam. After leaving prison, Malcolm quickly rose to prominence within the Nation of Islam. His charisma, oratorical skills, and unwavering commitment to the cause made him a dynamic leader and spokesperson. Under his leadership, the NOI's membership grew exponentially, attracting disillusioned African Americans seeking solutions to racial injustice. Malcolm's speeches were a blend of sharp critique and visionary optimism. He condemned the systemic racism that permeated American society and called for Black people to take pride in their heritage. Unlike other civil rights leaders of the time, Malcolm rejected nonviolent resistance, advocating for self-defense and the establishment of separate Black institutions as a means of achieving liberation. Despite his success, Malcolm's growing prominence created tension within the NOI. His willingness to engage with mainstream political movements and his criticism of Elijah Muhammad's leadership strained their relationship. By 1964, these tensions culminated in Malcolm's departure from the organization. A global perspective, pilgrimage and transformation. Leaving the Nation of Islam marked a new chapter in Malcolm's life. That same year, he undertook the Hajj, the Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca, which proved to be a transformative experience. For the first time, Malcolm saw Muslims of all races worshiping together, challenging his previously held views on race and human unity. This experience broadened his perspective, leading him to embrace a more inclusive approach to racial justice. Upon his return, Malcolm adopted the name Al-Hajj Malik el-Shabazz and founded the Organization of Afro-American Unity, OAU. The OAU's mission was to promote Pan-Africanism, human rights, and solidarity among oppressed peoples worldwide. Malcolm's speeches and writings during this period reflected a shift from the separatist rhetoric of his NOI days to a more global vision of equality and justice. The power of education in Malcolm's journey. Education played a central role in Malcolm X's transformation and activism. His self-directed learning in prison laid the groundwork for his intellectual development, enabling him to articulate the complexities of racial oppression and propose solutions. He often emphasized the importance of education as a tool for empowerment, famously stating, "Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today." Malcolm's ability to communicate complex ideas in an accessible manner made him a powerful advocate for change. Whether addressing a congregation, debating political opponents, or speaking at universities, he challenged his audiences to question their assumptions and confront uncomfortable truths. His speeches were not merely rhetorical, they were rooted in historical analysis, personal experience, and a profound understanding of systemic inequality. Legacy and impact. Malcolm X's assassination on February 21, 1965, marked the end of his life but not his influence. His ideas continued to inspire generations of activists, scholars, and ordinary citizens committed to the struggle for justice. His autobiography, co-written with Alex Haley, remains a seminal work in African American literature, offering an intimate portrait of his journey and philosophy. Malcolm's transformation through learning underscores the potential for personal growth and societal change through education. His legacy is a testament to the power of knowledge in dismantling ignorance and inspiring action. Today, Malcolm X is celebrated as a symbol of resistance, resilience, and the unyielding pursuit of truth. Conclusion. Malcolm X's life is a story of transformation, driven by an unrelenting quest for knowledge and justice. From his troubled beginnings to his emergence as a global leader, his journey exemplifies the transformative power of education. By embracing learning as a lifelong endeavor, Malcolm not only redefined himself but also empowered countless others to challenge oppression and envision a better world. His enduring message reminds us that true liberation begins with the mind, and through education, we can achieve lasting change.